Back in the fall of 22, out here in Willow Bend, Colorado, I was just trying to keep my head above water on the old Harlan spread a beat-up 800-acre patch of high plains that had been in the family since my grandpa's day, but it was falling apart faster than I could patch it. I'd hit rock bottom after a bad divorce, lost my job in the oil fields, and ended up crashing in the tiny cabin out back, fixing fences for my Uncle Tom, just to have a roof and 3 squares a day, nothing fancy, just enough to keep the wolves from the door. But one crisp October morning, while I was out mending wire along the edge where our land butts up against that fancy new subdivision, I heard this gut-wrenching rasp, like something big was fighting for its last breath, and that's when I stumbled on him, Thunder, this enormous gray stallion, chained to a gnarled aspen tree, half-starved, wounds festering from the iron digging into his hide, looking like he'd been left there to rot by someone who didn't give a damn. I froze right there in the underbrush, heart pounding, because tied to that chain was a crumpled note that read, "His name's Thunder. Too damn big, too mean, costs a fortune, can't keep him with the HOA breathing down my neck." Sorry. That word burned me up as I knelt down, meeting those deep blue eyes that weren't wild or mean at all, just pleading, like he was saying, "You gonna finish me off, or give me a shot?" See, Willow Bend had changed used to be all ranches and open sky, but then the developers rolled in, slapping up cookie-cutter houses, and the HOA types like my neighbor Carl Jenkins started pushing folks like us out, claiming our rustic ways lowered property values. Carl had been gunning for our land for years, whispering to the board about turning it into more lots, and I figured this horse was collateral in some shady deal. Maybe the previous owner got squeezed out, abandoned Thunder to avoid fines or eviction, all because Carl and his cronies manipulated the rules to grab more power, more dirt. I didn't think twice. Practicality be damned. I grabbed my tools from the truck, bolt cutters grinding through those rusty links while I muttered to Thunder, "Hang in there, big guy. We're getting you out of this mess." And he just lay there, trusting, not bucking once, like he knew I was his last hope. Getting him back to the ranch was hell. Every few steps he'd stagger, ribs like a washboard under that matted coat. But we'd pause, I'd stroke his muzzle, and he'd push on, that bond clicking into place right then, raw and real. Uncle Tom came home that night, saw this giant in the barn, and instead of blowing up about the extra mouth to feed, he clapped my shoulder, saying gruffly, "Luke, boy, this ain't no ordinary stray. This here's a fighter, like you." But the real fight was brewing. Word got out fast in a small town like ours, and sure enough, Carl showed up the next day, smirking at the fence line. "That horse looks familiar. Belongs to the guy I helped evict last month. You stealing property now, Harlan? HOA could shut you down for harboring strays." His voice dripped with that fake concern, eyes gleaming with greed. Wanted our land bad. Had been spreading rumors about our neglect to devalue it, all because his development firm stood to make bank if we folded. I shot back, "Stealing? This animal was left to die." Carl chained like trash. "If your precious rules did that, maybe it's time someone pushed back." He laughed it off, but I saw the flicker of worry. He stormed away, muttering threats about inspections and fines. That lit a fire and made Dove into Thunder's care like it was my mission, mixing special feeds Dr. Maria Reyes prescribed after she patched his wounds, warning me, "He's touch and go. Luke, malnourished bad, but that spirit? It's unbreakable. If you commit, he might just pull through." And he did, slowly filling out, scars fading, that gray coat gleaming like polished steel, and as I groomed him daily, spilling my guts about the divorce, the loneliness, how Carl's type made me feel small, Thunder listened, nuzzling me like he got it, turning my quiet rage into resolve. But Carl didn't consent. Anonymous complaints to animal control, claiming Thunder was a danger, even snuck onto our property one night, trying to spook him with fireworks, yelling, "See? Wild beast gonna get someone hurt." Thunder reared up, but I caught him, calming him with a whisper, "Easy, boy, he's the scared one." While Carl retreated, cursing, "You'll regret this, Harlan." That's when the turnaround hit unexpected, like a plot twist in one of those old westerns. As Thunder healed, folks started showing up, drawn by the buzz. Little Sophie from down the road, battling shyness after her folks split, approached him timidly, and he lowered his head, letting her whisper secrets, her mom tearing up as Sophie smiled for the first time in months, saying, "Mom, he understands." Then teen rebel Nate, who'd been joyriding and skipping school, offered to muck stalls just to hang with Thunder, opening up one evening. "I feel lost. Man, like nobody gets it." And Thunder rested his head in Nate's lap, the kid's tears falling as he promised to straighten out. Even during that brutal January blizzard, when a family got stranded nearby, Thunder stood sentinel in the barn, warming their scared kid with his bulk, the dad gripping my hand later. That horse saved more than our day, gave my boy hope. The community shifted. Old feuds melted as neighbors gathered at the fence, sharing stories. And I realized Thunder wasn't just healing, was exposing Carl's game, showing how his HOA stranglehold was choking the soul out of Willow Bend. We ramped it up, turning the ranch into Thunder Havina nonprofit therapy spot, with Uncle Tom donating acreage, locals chipping in for barns and paths, Dr. Reyes volunteering checkups. Carl flipped, storming a town meeting, red-faced. "This is a residential zone, not a zoo." Harlan's turning it into a circus to dodge taxes. But I stood tall, Thunder's story fresh in my mind, countering. "It's healing, Carl, not profit. You chain this town with your rules, we're breaking free." The crowd murmured agreement. Votes swinging our way as eviction push failed. His firm lost bids. And in a delicious twist, when his own grandkid needed therapy after a fall, Carl slunk over, hat in hand. "Look, maybe I was wrong. Can the boy meet Thunder?" I let him, watching Thunder work his magic, Carl's tough facade cracking as he admitted, grudgingly, "Damn horse. Changes things." Years on, Thunder Haven thrives, touching lives from vets with PTSD to kids like young Max, who, despite his wheelchair from a birth defect, climbed aboard Thunder one spring day, the horse lying down patient as stone, then rising slow, Max whooping, "I'm flying," as his folks wept. Me? I went from broken to builder, but here's the kicker that still nags. Was Carl just a bully chasing bucks, or did we all play a part in letting greed fester? Justice served, yeah, but at what cost? His family suffered too, and sometimes I wonder if forgiveness could have come sooner. What do you think was pushing back the right call, or should I have turned the other cheek? Drop your take in the comments. Share if you've tangled with HOA drama or community clashes, and hit subscribe for more real-life tales of comeback and controversy. Your stories keep this going. Let's hear 'em.